Why parent visas take so long in Australia explained simply. Let's talk about one of the most emotional and confusing visa types in Australia, the parent visa. If you've ever tried to bring your parents to live with you in Australia, you've probably asked this question: why does it take so long? Well, today we're diving into that exact topic: how long parent visas take in Australia, why the waiting times are so long, and what options families actually have. Why this topic matters. Bringing parents to Australia is one of the most emotional parts of migration. Many people move here for work, study, or family reasons, and after settling down they naturally want their parents close. But then comes the shock. Parent visas can take years, sometimes decades. It's not like applying for a visitor visa or a partner visa. This one tests your patience, emotions, and sometimes even your retirement plans. So in this video we'll break down the types of parent visas in Australia, the average processing times, why they take so long, and a few smart tips to handle the waiting period without losing hope. Types of parent visas in Australia. Let's start with the basics. There are two main categories of parent visas. 1. Contributory parent visas. 2. Non-contributory parent visas. And that one little word, contributory, makes a world of difference. The contributory parent visa is faster but much more expensive. The non-contributory parent visa is cheaper but has a waiting time that could make your mint plant grow, flower, and retire before the visa arrives. Let's go over both. Contributory parent visa subclass 143 and 173. The contributory parent visa subclass 143 is the most popular option for families who want their parents to live in Australia permanently. There's also a temporary version, the subclass 173, which lasts for 2 years and allows parents to later transition to 143. Now the cost, brace yourself, it's around 47,000 Australian dollars per parent in visa charges, plus the assurance of support bond. Yes, it's not a small number. But here's the bright side. The processing time is much faster, usually between 3 to 6 years depending on how old the application is and how many are in the queue. Still sounds long? Well, wait until you hear the next one. Non-contributory parent visa subclass 103. The subclass 103 parent visa is the traditional non-contributory version. It's much cheaper, roughly a few $1,000s, but here's the catch. The waiting time is around 25 to 30 years. Yes, you heard right, that's almost a lifetime. In fact, the Department of Home Affairs has publicly said that because of limited spaces, only about 1,500 non-contributory visas are granted per year, while tens of thousands are waiting in the queue. So if you apply now, it's like joining a queue that goes from Sydney all the way to Perth. Why does it take so long? Now here's the question everyone asks: why? The answer lies in something called the Migration Program Planning Levels. Each year, Australia decides how many people they will allow to migrate under different categories: skilled, partner, child, and parent visas. Parent visas fall under the family migration stream, but within that stream, most of the places are allocated to partner visas and child visas first, because those are considered immediate family priorities. So parent visas get a smaller share of the quota pie. For example, one year the government might allow 8,500 places for parent visas, but over 100,000 applications are already waiting. The math says it all. The queue and capping system. Australia uses a capping and queuing system. That means even if you submit your application today, it won't be processed until the previous year's backlog clears. Imagine waiting for a popular concert ticket, but the concert happens once every year and each person in front of you has 5 family members. That's what the queue looks like. Once your application reaches the front of the queue, then processing officially begins, and that's when you'll start hearing from the department for things like medicals, police checks, and assurance of support requests. Assurance of support explained. Now let's talk about this assurance of support thing. Many people get confused by it. It's basically a financial commitment that the sponsor, usually the child in Australia, makes to ensure the parent won't rely on government welfare payments after arriving. You have to provide financial evidence and often a bond amount around 10,000 Australian dollars for 2 parents that stays locked for 10 years. So the government is basically saying, you can bring your parents, but please make sure they don't rely on us. It's fair enough, but it adds another step and more paperwork, which also slows things down. The queue for contributory parent visas. Even the contributory visas have a queue. As of recent updates, The approximate processing time for subclass 143 is around 5 to 6 years. However, this can change based on the annual quota and the number of applications already lodged. Some people who applied before 2018 are just now being processed, so yes, it's slow but not hopeless. If you've already applied, make sure your contact details stay updated with the department. Many people miss important emails or letters and accidentally delay their own cases. Temporary options while waiting. Here's a smart question many people ask. Can my parents come to Australia while waiting? Yes, in many cases they can apply for a long-stay visitor visa, especially the subclass 600 sponsored family stream, which can allow stays of up to 12 months. And if they already hold a parent visa temporary 173 or 884, they can stay in Australia during processing of the permanent stage. However, the department always checks whether they have genuine intent to return, so the documents must clearly show their plans, funds, and health insurance. Emotional side of the waiting. Let's be honest, waiting for a parent visa isn't just about time, it's about feelings. For many migrants, their parents grow older while waiting. Some applicants apply in their 50s or 60s, and by the time the visa is ready, they might be retired. That's why you'll see families trying creative solutions, long visits, split stays, or even moving temporarily to countries closer to Australia to stay connected. It's tough, but at least knowing why the wait exists helps you plan better. A small silver lining. Now, the good news, the government reviews these planning levels every year. If the demand for parent visas increases, and if the government increases the family visa quota, processing can move a little faster. For example, during some years, additional parent visa spots were announced to clear the backlog slightly faster. So there's always a small ray of hope. And remember, once granted, Parent Visa 143 gives full permanent residence, including Medicare, Social Security eligibility after waiting period, and a path to citizenship. So the reward at the end of the wait is huge. Tips to make the process smoother: 1. Submit a complete application. Missing documents delay everything. 2. Keep your sponsor's financial info up to date. 3. Don't ignore communication from the department. 4. Stay patient and positive. The queue may be long, but the system moves every year. 5. Join support groups or Facebook communities for parent visa applicants. They often share real timelines, which gives you a more realistic picture. A quick reality check. It's okay to feel frustrated. Many families around Australia are in the same boat. But it's also good to understand that parent visas are designed for long-term settlement, so the government wants to balance population, economy, and healthcare costs. The long waiting times aren't personal, they're policy-based. So instead of feeling stuck, use the waiting years wisely, build your finances, strengthen your sponsor documents, and prepare for your parents' new life here when the day finally comes. If you're watching this video because you or your parents are waiting for a parent visa, hang in there. Yes, it takes years. Yes, it's emotional. But when that moment arrives and you see your parents walking out of the airport with that permanent visa, you'll realize every minute was worth it. If you found this video helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, when did you apply for your parent visa, and what stage are you at right now? Your story might help someone else going through the same journey. See you in the next video. Stay positive, stay patient, and stay connected with your loved ones.